James having shrimp tempura soft tacos from Costco that were given to us for free, and berries for dessert, and yogurt. And I was thinking of putting the stuff in the dessert in the old dragon fruit, but I decided against it. So Skyfall 007 got the top of the stack, Killer's Game got the bottom, and Killer's Game was so awful. I couldn't believe it, how bad it was, because it has, what's his name? Ben Kingsley in it. So I thought for sure it'd be okay, but no, it was not. It was really, really badly written. So why I decided against putting this in, I was trying to dry this out and see it, as it dried, it sucked its corners in and it doesn't look as nice. And it still looks good on this, on the outside. But I don't know, I think I'd have to like lay mint leaves or something like that around the outside to make it still look pretty to serve it. But yeah, that's all. I was thinking, like James threw his half of the dragon fruit out in the yard. And I thought, well, I wonder how long, like if I set it, you know, just on the counter and dry it out, because it's, I mean, here in Lethbridge, in the winter in Canada anyway, it's dry in houses because of the whole, the heating of the air, it dries it out. But in Lethbridge, I mean, it must be like the Sahara inside, because it's, we have the Chinook that brings warm air from the mountain, so it's sort of like the way the air in your house is heated, right? It goes over the mountains and whatever, and it ends up very dry when it gets over the mountains to us.
Yeah, it's what happens is it's coming down the mountains and then the foothills and so on and so forth. Even here, we're sloping eastward, and as air goes down, it's enabled to absorb more moisture, hold more moisture. That's why you get orogenic rainfall working the other way. As air goes up, it holds moisture less effectively, and you'll get...
You should eat the shrimp first, it's going to get cold.
Yeah, I'm having a little bit of trouble. I ate this morning jalapenos from this sort of thing.
Okay.
And it's my stomach's having an octopus reaction.
Well, just take those there's just a couple there.
I know.
You can take them off and...
I'm trying to counteract it.
I see. That's why you wanted the yogurt. I just thought maybe you liked this flavor.
I kind of like it too. But
yeah. I thought it would go well with this because they provide a sauce that has lime and cilantro.
Anyway, I'm just trying to counteract it a bit. So.
All right. But anyway, you may have noticed the peat moss that I have there. I was going to just use some of what I had, and you know how I bake it in the oven to clean it, to clean the stuff, and then use for my seedlings. So anyway, I was going to do that, but I have not been a very good gardener over the past few years, and I don't really have, like, I've been putting compost just in the yard and then raking it in elsewhere in the yard and whatever. So I haven't really had a pile per se or anything like that, and so bringing compost in to mix with it is pretty tough right now. But anyway, I'll get back into the swing of things. I'm hoping to plant some seedlings right away, so we'll see how that goes. So yeah, just got a bag of peat moss, and that'll be that. But anyway, Skyfall. I didn't realize that Daniel Craig had done so many James Bond movies.
Oh, he's done tons of them. He might have done more than anyone else.
I know, but I didn't know. I thought he did a couple. And so I looked up and I'm like, oh my, I guess I haven't watched, well, I hadn't watched this. I've never seen this movie before until yesterday when I watched it.
How long ago was it put out?
I think I told you yesterday, 2012. Yeah, this was,
they
put a 50th anniversary thing at the end of this one, which was cool. So anyway, yeah, this was terrific. The action was great, and I can't imagine that anyone wouldn't like watching this movie. It was really entertaining. And anyway, I don't know if people really like watching. I see a lot of guys that are kind of maybe like this guy, the bad guy in this. He was not gay but bi, from the looks of things. Yeah,
they actually played that angle.
Javier Bardem
Spring
played that. Anyway,
the role that he's playing is bi. Well,
yeah. And honestly, like I see a lot in movies of like especially transvestites. People don't seem to like transvestites for some reason. They're often villains or something. They're bad in some way, right? And so I don't know if that's common among people, that they don't really like seeing.
Well, I mean,
I don't know. It's kind of troublesome for me. I think.
Yeah.
There's this idea that
like I can understand with transvestites, you're hiding who you are, you're making yourself appear different than you would normally be or whatever, and so that just plays into that mysterious bad guy or whatever sort of thing, right? But
well, there's this thing, Muhammad Ali said part of his spiel or act was based on Gorgeous George or something like that, who was I think that's what his name was. He was one of these wrestlers before WWE or even WWF existed. Okay? So you can imagine what Gorgeous George was like. And I think what with men, there's like guys. There's they don't want to be called gay. That's one thing, because that's considered weak or wussy or whatever. But then there's the thing that they don't like preening. Like people who show off the way they dress or whatever, right? And so the thing with Gorgeous George or even Muhammad Ali, his opponents would have hated him. He's always showing off, and worse yet, trying to show other people up.
A lot of men seem to like women who show off.
Yeah, but that's different.
Women dancers. They like.
Well, they don't want them showing them up. Okay. Right?
I guess so.
Well, they don't.
Yeah. But they want them to look pretty.
I know.
They'll want them to wear makeup and do their hair and everything like that, and they'd be deeply offended if they didn't.
That's stupid, Elvis.
So I don't know.
That woman, one time, she stayed over at Graceland where she didn't have makeup in the morning. Honey, put makeup on. No, in the morning.
Honestly, I think you might be right about that, and that's why men want women to doll themselves up and stuff, just so that they don't feel, and so they're more feminine in the men's eyes, so they're not at all like.
Perceived to be.
It's kind of I think it's a domination thing. I think they want to.
Well, there's domination, but there's possession, right?
Yeah.
So they don't mind showing off at second hand, or whoever is hanging on their right or left arm, right? That's their decoration, not what they wear, what they kind of are escorting around or something like that. I don't know. It's something that I don't really understand, but it is a kind of possession kind of thing. Anyway, it was hard for me to understand the players I was playing soccer with, for example. Track and field's a little bit different. You're kind of competing for yourself. I never competed really. There were different guys there in track and field. And of course, it was the university, a little bit different. But soccer, run-of-the-mill guys, working-class guys, whatever. A lot of guys were involved with meat planting, meat packing. There we go. Got to take care of business. So I found it hard to understand their motives and stuff like that. They, they really weren't playing those games, playing team. They were just out there and kind of, oh, I'm here and I'm kind of blessing my co-players with my presence and stuff like that. And whatever they did was not wrong. You know what didn't stink, all that kind of stuff. Whenever the team lost, it was the team's fault, everyone else's fault. When the team won, wow, big star, number one was the solely responsible. That sort of stuff is kind of stuff. After a loss, I couldn't sleep. I had trouble sleeping because I go, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? Different psychology.
Anyway, Daniel Craig, yeah, is James Bond. Very different James Bond than the other ones. He's, I mean, there are some, I don't know, would you call them romance scenes? I don't know.
Exactly.
But honestly, he doesn't seem, he doesn't seem like he really needs or wants anybody else. He can handle things on his own, as much as sometimes he does accept help from other people. He's a bit of a loner.
Yeah, you got a point there.
So
I mean,
it's interesting.
It's weird that Ian Fleming had this concept of James Bond, because you look at him, Ian Fleming himself, ugly-looking, middle-aged guy, smoking, as I recall, cigarettes in a big cigarette holder. You know, I grew up with those. What that putz. Anyway, yeah, the kind of guy that women would flee. not being attracted to, like to a first coming of the Beatles or something like that. Anyway, yeah, it's a very, now that you point that out, it's very different.
And it's interesting that everyone's blaming the woman in charge for everything going wrong. And
politically incorrect, but I'm telling you, that would there'd be a lot of guys who would warm to that.
Play for, right? And apparently it did. And honestly, I love watching this movie still, even though there's that aspect to it. I love Ralph Fiennes, his role in it, and how things end up at the end. I love Moneypenny, how things end up.
Moneypenny, eh?
Yeah, it's terrific. I love the ending of this movie so much that I look forward to watching the other Daniel Craig Bond movies, even though this was the first one that I've seen of them now. I don't know if it was the first one he did. I doubt it, because I think I watched one with Judi Dench as M before, so I think that must have come before this. Somebody's really chatty.
Well,
they're trying, They do that when they see I've given James food, but I noticed when I put James's food down that the bird's food was empty. And so there's somebody trying to tell me, you can bring some out for us.
Is it a sparrow? I don't think it's a chicken.
I think it is.
Yeah.
I think it's a sparrow. So I'll have to go get some food for him.
Yeah.
But I'm going to talk about the Killer's Game a little bit first. Now, this didn't work mainly because of the writing. Almost entirely, actually. It's so badly written. There's, there's one part where the guys on the motorcycles, they're brothers, and the big hero, Joe Flood, in this movie, he's...
Joe Flood?
Yeah.
It should be Joe Flood.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So he's... these guys are on either side of him, and he says, "Where's your brother?" "Oh, he's over there," right? And so that's already been established that he knows they're brothers, and it's already been said. And then the guy, when the one brother gets killed, he says, "You killed my brother," and it's like, yeah, we already know that. You don't have to say my brother, right? Or you don't, whatever. It's just stupid. And
boy, he looks dumb. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
He looks like he could be a real army guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of action in this, a lot of violence, a lot of deaths, and you're thinking, well, these people, they're the people that are dying, they're bad guys or hitmen, so you don't care that much, whatever. But really, you see some, you know, Joe Flood story first as to why the action later on is going to happen. But it lasts too long. It takes too long for them to get the story. It was like half an hour before
The story got rolling?
Yeah, really, before the action got rolling, not the story.
Oh.
The story was first, then the action, and honestly, I don't think the people who watch this sort of action movie...
Jay.
Oh, he's noticed that I've been putting the peanuts out. I have to go. James will talk about something. I have to get the food.
I'm just looking at the Jay. A real handsome brute, that guy. I'm telling you. He's eyeing I'm sure he's eyeing the fruit here. You see this, Jay? There we go. Screaming Jay Hawkins. Look at that, buddy. I think it might have been this guy. We saw last year. I didn't realize when they get excited, their crest feathers kind of like move around. It's amazing. Anyway, to the Finland station, Edmund Wilson. I hear them calling. No.
Yeah, no, you keep talking. I gotta feed the birds.
Yeah. It's not tuppence a bag, that's for sure.
He knows we're gonna get fed.
That's
right?
a little reference to Mary Poppins. It's actually a nice song. Feed the birds, tuppence a bag. It's my favorite song out of that movie. I don't like Chim Chim Cheree, and I don't think I actually saw that movie and saw very few movies when I was a kid. There we go. That's a different call from it. There we go. I think he might be saying thank you or something like that.
Yeah, I think he is. You're welcome, Blue Jay. You're so handsome.
Yeah.
Very handsome.
Handsome and very, very alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, there he goes. He must be, I saw him diving down out of the tree.
I'll try to. Oh, he's already gone over there. I can't show you. I was going to show you him getting the food, and he's just left right away.
He's a brisk individual. He's quite a character.
But you heard him. You know he was there.
Anyway, Edmund Wilson to the Finland station. Long book. I think it's a little over 500 pages. Let's see how. 511 pages, and then some preparatory stuff, so on and so forth. Paperback. First published in 1940. I think this is a 1953 reprint. What? 1940? 1953 imprint. And I think Trotsky was wiped out by Stalin's agents, real Stalin. Puppet of Stalin. Kind of like Donald Trump's doing poop spitting right now, threatening Canada with huge tariffs. And Mexico, apparently, too. How much time?
Oh, I don't know. 10 minutes. You have lots
Okay,
of time.
there we go. Anyway, 1940. So he talks about Trotsky in here. There's more. Chapter 2, 3. Gonna check. I think it's 3. 1, 2. Trotsky, the young eagle. And then Trotsky identifies his history with himself. And he talks as though Trotsky's still alive, and I guess he was. Got this book published or whatever, but I think it was sometime later in 1940. This book again was put out in 1940. And I think Trotsky's wiped out. I think it was an ice pick to the head. And Trotsky survived a little, for a little while after that attack. I think it was more a matter of hours than weeks. Maybe a few days. A day or two. Anyway, Edmund Wilson's I always thought that Edmund Wilson was kind of like a calming one, so I kind of avoided getting hold of this. It's obvious success. I think the 53 thing is paperback. It's an Anchor edition. Kind of like some of these double-day Anchor books. And, oh, he's back again. Hey, Jay. He's going to get some more. Came down off of that tree like a diver off the cliffs of Acapulco. And now he'd be down. It's out of my line of view, but line of sight. He's probably scattering. There he goes. It sounded always kind of picking through. Was that peanuts you laid out for?
Yeah, I
buddy?
put peanuts and sunflower seeds.
Yeah, it sounded always picking through things. It's amazing how messy birds are with seeds. Sometimes they'll pick through things. It's funny to watch them spit stuff out that they don't care for.
Yeah, if anybody wants to attract blueberries, that's the way to do it. Peanuts.
To attract blue jays, yeah.
Or, yeah, what did I say?
Blueberries, but he was thinking he probably wants the blueberries.
I was wanting to attract some blueberries, maybe.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
I gave you the last of them because they're pretty special.
They are awesome. And he would have been looking at this stuff, particularly the red of those raspberries there. But,
yeah.
Hey, be willing to settle for second best. Anyway, this is Edmund Wilson is kind of like not quite a true believer in communism or socialism. There are quite critical passages even of Marx. You know, so he points out it's kind of a truism, but there are a lot of people, I'm sure, even nowadays, who think that communism is the way to go. You know, like, but Wilson points it out. There's no, the trouble with commies and revolutionaries generally is that they are, they're fighters. They're fighting to overthrow a system that they hate, but they don't have anything to replace it with. Anything. It's just, oh, we're going to improvise. And the big trouble is, you end up with, you know, the Trotsky's idea of permanent revolution or whatever. Whether or not they have the idea, that's what happens. It's just like constant, ongoing, eternal witch hunting. That's what communism has turned out to be. And frankly, that's what social democracy is. What you've got in Europe, for example, Western Europe, is a mixed economy where capitalists really generate the wealth and then it's shared. So it's not really a socialist system. They call themselves social democrats, but it's different from the social democrats that Marx and Engels took over. And understand, social democracy was basically communism up until the time the Bolsheviks expelled the majority and called the majority the Menshevik. Menshevik means minority. And Bolshoi, for example, is the big ballet company. I believe it's in Moscow. I mean, big. Right? And that root, BL, that has the consonants BL and SH, means big, or stuff derived from it. You can derive stuff from that root. Bolshevik is sort of thing, majority, but apparently it was a minority of folks in the Social Democratic Party, so they kind of expelled themselves, as it were, from the Social Democratic Party, but the way they were looking at it is we're expelling them. And believe me, the Social Democrats were not that nice people back then. They're not like what we think of as Social Democrats now. You know, for example, this Sturmabteilung, SA, we call them stormtroopers. Abteilung just kind of means like department, storm department. Sturm is cognate with English, it's storm. English is a Germanic language, just like German. They're related. Fairly closely, actually. Sturmabteilung, SA. And where did they get the idea for the basic idea and how they operated was to It was to beat up opponents who'd turn up at their meetings. They got it. The Nazis did. The idea from the Social Democrats. The Social Democrats have a tradition of violence of their own. Okay, yeah, get it straight. And there are a lot of Social Democrats who are strutting around calling themselves pacifists and that sort of stuff. And they were doing that sort of stuff during the Cold War. But I can't think of an exception where they were cheering for the anti-communist forces. They were basically cheering for the communists all the way down the line. And so they were pacifists themselves. They were not going to do anything. You know, like if folks decide to respond to some sort of oppression or whatever by capitalists, whiteys, Christians, well, you know, anything goes. Yeah. Revolutionary terrorism. That's Lenin's formula, revolutionary terrorism. We're going to be doing revolutionary terrorism. Get used to the idea. That's kind of like Lenin's, one of his sound chalks, not a sound bite. And, you know, like, so, Social Democrats, you know, like, take the mask off. You know, I'm using a Stalin-esque formula. You know, he's always talking about unmasking people. Unmask yourselves, you Social Democrats. You really believe in violence. You believe in revolutionary violence. It's just you don't want to get your greasy little hands dirty. I'm going to look at this Jay. I'm telling you. I shouldn't call him Screaming Jay Hawkins. I should come up with something else. But, I like him. The one in my neighborhood where I've got my library, I don't like so much. I saw him stalking a little, not even a fledgling. Hey, there we go. Hey, buddy. He's telling Pauline to hurry up. Did he actually fly down with you back there, Pauline?
What?
He actually flew down. He's not that scared of you.
No.
But we're going to come up with a name. What was it? We'll call him Screamin' Rompin' Ronnie Hawkins or something. Screamin' Ronnie Hawkins. There we go. So Rompin' Ronnie Hawkins was a guy who came up from Arkansas. I think it was West Helen, Arkansas. Maybe as early as the late 50s. He was a... Who was he related to? Oh yeah, Dale Hawkins, the guy who wrote and performed Susie Q, the original. Covered by Creedence Clearwater Revival. They did quite a good job with Susie Q. But I think Rompin' Ronnie Hawkins is maybe a cousin of Dale. Anyway, he came up to Canada and picked up a band, and they ended up being called the band when they backed up Bob Dylan. So most of the folks in that band, aside from Rompin' Ronnie, and the drummer that he brought up from West Helena, Texas, Arkansas. Helena, I think, is right on the Mississippi, across from the state of Mississippi. I'm not mistaken. Not too far downstream from Memphis. Am I out of time?
You have 13 seconds.
13 seconds. So Rompin' Ronnie, yeah, he died a while back. He actually, for a Southerner, was quite objective. He was for our Medicare system, although he didn't like gun control.